Hey guys, welcome back to another flashlight review, and today we're going to be looking at the Fenix TK28R. This is a brand new flashlight that Fenix have just released, or hopefully have just released by the time I post this video. And basically this is Fenix's answer to the large flat style flashlight genre. And there's a couple that come to mind, mainly the Wuben X1 and also the Loop SK05 series. And this one from Fenix comes with a tactical style sort of interface. It's got a tactile switch here on the back, a few different modes that you can select from. It's rated at 6,500 lumens, 400 meters of range. And Fenix are using this unique quad LED design. So you've got an SFT70, SST70, and 2 red LEDs. I'll go through them in a bit later. And it's using a 2x18650 design. So pretty simple to just change the battery. Just press this switch, and it has, of course, a lock on there as well. Just going to flip it upwards, and these are the batteries that come with it, the 18650 cells. So a little demo of the flashlight. So at the moment I've got it on the main beam mode. You can flick this switch over to the lock mode, and there's also the red light mode. So on the white mode, essentially, if you press the tail switch there, or half press, it's a forward clicky as well, you get a momentary. So it just memorizes the last mode you were in. So we'll activate that continuously, and then you can press this other button here where the battery indicator is to ramp up. To turbo, for example, turn off, and then it will memorize turbo. Okay, and you can go into the lock mode, nothing happens there. And there is the red mode. Okay, so once you've activated it, there's 3 modes. So 1, 2, 3, like that. And if you press from off, you do get this flashy red mode. On the white, you get a strobe if you just press that secondary switch. So in terms of what you get in the box, it's pretty much everything that you see here, and did already show you the batteries, but I'll bring them up a little bit closer. So you can see here 4,000 milliamp hour cells, and you've got to put them in a certain way, positive terminal up, negative terminal. You've also got a USB-C charging cable, get a lanyard and some spare O-rings, plus this chunky holster. And this is the box that it comes in if you want to pause the video and have a read of some of the specifications, especially here on the back. So I've got the Fenix TK28R next to a few other flashlights that I own. And you can see that's the TK30. I've got the Lumentop W2, SK05 Pro, and I've also got the Convoy M21B. And you can see it's almost like it's almost like the SK05 grew an extra bit longer. And yeah, if you sort of look at the head as well, it's pretty chunky, I'll tell you that. But still, if you compare it to something like the Convoy M21B, you know, it's still, yeah, it's around the same size, maybe a little bit narrower. So yeah, even though it's a chunkier flashlight, when you put it in your pocket, it feels surprisingly comfortable. And I've got the Fenix TK30 here as well. So I'd say these are like quite similar. These two are probably the largest flashlights that I would carry around in my pocket. And here I've got the Lumentop W2, and you can see it does incorporate some of these floody LEDs as well as a main spot LED, but of course it's taking up a little bit of extra room, so yeah, not very pocket friendly. Okay, so here's a closer up look of the Fenix TK28R, and this thing is built from 6061 T6 aluminium. It's got a premium HA3 anodized finish as well, and yeah, overall just feels very rugged, durable. You know, it does feel a bit slippery though, which is standard with most Fenix flashlights. You do have a bit of knurling here where you hold the flashlight down the sides, so that definitely helps. And yeah, like I said, the flat body shape does make it surprisingly okay to pocket. And the overall design of the TK28R feels very tactical, kind of military, and it reminds me a little bit of the Nightcore EDC 23 and 29 series, except maybe a bit larger. You know, it's got that same same kind of aesthetic. A while ago, I also reviewed the Nextorch TA31. It reminded me a little bit of it, but the TA31 has a much larger head, a sort of circular bezel, which makes it very difficult to pocket. The Fenix TK28R is rated IP68 water and dust resistant. It's also fully submersible to 2 meters and impact resistant to 1 meter. You also get a lifetime warranty with the flashlight. So in terms of the switches, you can see here on the rear, there's a couple of switches. You've got that mechanical tail clicky, so for momentary functionality, full on, off, and it's really surprising that these switches are so quiet. It seems like Fenix have swapped some of these switches out on their Ace series as well. I mean, you can barely hear that thing turn on. If you compare it to, say, the Fenix TK30, you know, it's definitely a lot louder. And you've got this metal selector switch here that just rotates in between the different functions. That is also a battery indicator and a secondary switch. And you can see there's the USB-C charging port there. That thing is also internally sealed. You've got this nice aluminium cover as well, stop dust from getting in. You've got this clip here on the back. It's a rigid sort of clip. It's coated in titanium, but it's a steel clip. Feels really durable and rigid. I did try to charge my phone as well with a USB-C to C cable. It didn't work, so I don't think this will function as a power bank. So here's a little look under the head, and you've got an SFT70 here to the left, larger smooth reflector. That's for additional range. You've got the SST70 to the right, and the idea with this is that it's meant to combine both beams, so you get sort of flood and throw out of the same flashlight. And in the center, you've got a couple of these LEDs that I've never heard of before. They're the QSS PA1.23 red LEDs. They have a 3x3mm die surface, and having a look at the data sheet as well before, appears that this LED produces light from 605 nanometers to 620 nanometers. So it's more on the orangey reddish side rather than a deep red beam. And yeah, those also have they're housed in a couple of smooth reflectors. You've got a glass lens on the front, stainless steel protective bezel, and it seems to be, sort of coated in some other colored coating. And this is going to be enough for window breaking. There's no crenulation, which could, cause issues in security checkpoints, that kind of thing on planes. Okay, so a little run through of the UI. So firstly, I just need to set the mode. So I've got it on the white mode at the moment, just to the top. And if you half press the switch, the main rubber switch, you get momentary mode just on whatever the light has remembered last. So for full press, you get sustained output. Then you can press this secondary switch here to ramp up. So you've got eco, low, medium, high, and then a turbo mode. Okay, so if you leave it on, say, high, turn it off, turn it back on, it memorizes that mode. Now, if I have the light just off and I'm not touching the main switch, if I press the smaller one here, the mode switch, you get a one-step strobe, which could be very handy and good to know it's always going to activate. And the second stage here is the lock mode, so nothing pretty much happens on the lock mode. You can't even, you can actually activate the battery check feature, which is good. And on that final point there, you've got the red mode, so basically a half press to activate momentary, full press to activate on, and then you can cycle low, medium, high on the red mode. Now, if you turn off and just press the mode switch on its own, you get this kind of flashy red mode, but you have to hold it down for it to activate. All right, so I ran a bunch of ceiling bounce tests with the Fenix TK28R, and this is on the white turbo mode, so 6,500 lumens. You can see you get about 30 seconds of runtime before the light steps down to about a third of its output. And you can see just after the 2-minute mark, you've got another step down to half of that. I ran a second ceiling bounce test on the 2000 lumen modes, the high modes, and you can see get about 30 seconds of runtime before the light steps down to just under 50% of its output. This is the final ceiling bounce test that I ran on 800 lumens, the medium mode, and this is a sustainable mode, so as you can see here, there's no step down. Also ran a bunch of tests with my Opal Light Master Pro, so you can pause the video, have a look here, but the key bits of information are the turbo mode. You can see on the white mode, so measured 432 meters of range, pretty impressive. And on the red mode on high, I measured 56 meters of range. So a few considerations to keep in mind if you're thinking of getting the Fenix TK28R. So this thing, it's surprisingly comfortable to pocket, but it is heavy. It's 358 grams. Okay, the head is also quite chunky, as you can see. So it is, again, on the upper ends of a flashlight that I would pocket, but it does come with a holster, like I was demoing before, so you can clip it directly onto your belt as well. The second consideration is that the 6500 lumen mode generates a fair bit of heat, so the light has to step down quite quickly, so you do get 30 seconds of output, but yeah, on that turbo mode, but you can also just reactivate it again afterwards if needs be. The final consideration is the price. So this thing sits in the premium range in terms of flashlights, so yeah, of course it's worth it if you do need the extra power, build quality, but there are, smaller flashlights out there that aren't going to set you back as much, but of course you do have a few quite unique features on here, including the red LEDs, plus that dual SST70 and SFT70 beam, which I've never seen before on another flashlight. And I really like as well that you can just swap out the batteries so easily. This mechanism also feels very seamless. Overall, the Fenix TK28R is a fantastic high-powered flashlight, especially if you don't want to step into that big flashlight category. Okay, some people would call this a big flashlight already, but the fact that you can fit it in your pocket is pretty impressive. And yeah, I like the flood and throw beam, that combined beam. I think it's just the best of both worlds, plus the red LEDs in there. Those are definitely going to get a lot of use for myself. And yeah, if you're someone who does security, bit of patrol work, of course those tactical features are going to be very crucial, important for some of you. You've got that one-step strobe as well as one-step turbo if you leave it in the turbo mode. I think this is also going to be great for camping and hiking just due to the extended runtime of the flashlight. It'd be good to put it in your car as well, in the glove box. But let me know what you guys think, and if you have any questions, leave them below in the comments and I'll get back to you. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, click the like button and share the video with someone who might be interested. Just helps me to get the channel out to more people. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews and keep up to date with the latest flashlight news, make sure you subscribe. Fenix TK28R, and this is the turbo mode. Pretty incredible. It's just a gigantic hotspot with a ton of flood, as you can see. And I'll go through the different modes as well. So you've got like the eco mode here, low. Even the low and medium mode are fantastic just for walking around. It's almost too bright in the medium mode here. High and turbo. Holy cow. Yeah, really having that combination of the SFT70 and the SST70 provides I don't know why no one else has decided to do this, but it works, that's for sure. And turn it off and you can also access the strobe mode in here, and there is a red mode which I can activate as well. So low, medium, high, low, medium, high. And that red mode, the high red modes, it gets to the center of that field pretty easily, but that's about it. To the back you can't really see anything. But yeah, it's interesting because it's like a perfect circle, even though it's formed by two LEDs and two sort of shallow, smooth reflectors. Yeah, you could use this as a walking light. There's not a whole lot of spill on the lower mode. Medium, that's fine. I'll swap over to the main white beam now. Eco, low, medium, high, and turbo. Holy cow. And this thing does step down after 30 seconds, but you can reactivate that turbo mode again. That's the 800 lumen mode. That does not step down. It actually appears a little bit brighter than it does on camera. Just have to turn down the ISO a bit, otherwise the turbo mode just looks too washed out. That's high, so 2000 lumens. That's just 6500. Go for a walk. Fenix TK28R, and this is Eco, and you got the low, medium, high, and turbo. See absolutely everything through here. I'll go for a bit of a walk, but before I do, I'll just pop it onto the red mode just to show you decent amount of range, the highest red mode. This is the Fenix TK28R. So Eco, low, medium, high, and turbo. Ridiculous. Now this mode here, the medium mode, that is sustainable, so 800 lumens, plenty of light, too much light in fact. That's your high mode, 2000 lumens, 6500 lumens. Okay, it's pitch black here where I'm walking, so I'll go for a bit of a walk and you'll see the beam profile.